Hello. Uh, my name is Zaire. I'm a poet. I write on topics like introspection, heartbreak, escapism, romance. I think that's all of them. So, the prompt that I thought of tonight, it's like what, 1:23 a.m. So, the morning. You can't be armed while in love. And what this means is when you plan to really love someone with all that you are, you can't have your defenses up. You can't be trying to, reckon how things will end, hyper analyzing everything they do to try to, plan for the catastrophes that can happen, aka, they break your heart and then, there you are. A lump of sadness and tears. You can't do that. You really do just have to go in, and it's like you just strip yourself of all your armor and say, like, this is who I am. And you both do it. And it's like you both have like these really sharp daggers, and at any minute you could just stab them. And that's literally how loving is. You both have the potential to really destroy each other. And when you love someone, you don't want to do that. You shouldn't want to do that. You shouldn't want to stab someone. I mean, you shouldn't want to hurt them. And it just makes me think about my first relationship. I had all these ideas about love and being in relationships, like, oh, you should love someone the way you want to be loved. You should be there for them at every moment, every waking moment. Always help them, see the good in them, accept their flaws, compromise. Yeah, I compromise quite a bit. And over time, I've come to realize I was incredibly naive. And I went through a lot with my ex, a lot. I wish I could say I had like an amicable breakup, but it was not. And we've interacted after that, but he just needs to grow and heal. Some people just need to grow and heal. I should put that on a shirt. But when it comes to love, you can't just, you gotta be in it. You gotta be all in or nothing. If you really want to love someone and build something, you gotta be in it. And another like subcategory of love that I feel like is it's discussed, but I think it should be reiterated many times, especially because this is something that I have struggled with in the past. When I had my first relationship, first and only relationship, I had these ideas of who my ex was, mostly because of who he presented himself to be. But I had these ideas of who he was mixed in with how I wanted to see him. It was just not healthy because that's not who he was. So I think it's really easy to, want someone to be a certain way in a relationship, whether that be because of how they present themselves, how you think they should act, but it's just not, it's not fair because you're not letting someone be themselves. And that was a hard lesson that I had to learn, because I didn't really see anything wrong with what I was doing. Like, I was like, oh, why wouldn't you want to be more like me? Like, I'm emotionally available, emotionally intelligent. I do all these things for you. I'm there for you. Why wouldn't you want to be like that? But this just wasn't who he was, who he is. Like, that's why it didn't really work, because he lacked all of those things. So if you don't let someone be who they are, especially when they continually show you who they are, the whole rose-colored glasses thing. Yeah, I had my shits on like 1,000. Like, I was not seeing it. I was like, this is good. This is great. He's great. Was not seeing it. When you don't let people be who they are, you can fall victim to romanticization, which is a cocktail for like even more traumatic heartbreak. Because it's one thing if like you see someone for who they are and then you kind of walk away, but if it's like you see someone for who you think they should be and then they show you, and then you have a version of them in your head still that you're attached to, and they continue to show you who they are, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You want to be able to differentiate between a fantasy and reality. And a lot of people can. More power to you. That is amazing that you knew that from the jump. You're great for that. Me, I learned my lesson the hard way. And it was a lesson well learned. Lesson well learned. And another thing, when it comes to love, you have to love yourself first before anybody else. And this lesson put me on my ass. It put me on my ass because I did not love myself. And I was so busy loving him, chasing after him. Ain't that crazy? Hardest lesson I've ever learned, but also the best. Like, the relationship that I have with myself now is miles better than what I had before. Like, the improvement is substantial. I would not have it any other way. Like, if I was to choose between me now and me back then, I'd take me now with all the heartbreak, all the lessons learned. I wouldn't trade that just for being naive again. But when it comes to loving yourself, it doesn't really get better than that. Like, when you have a solid bond with yourself, no matter what happens in your relationship, you will know that you have something still, someone, because it's the most painful thing when, you lose your other half, someone you valued so much, and now it feels like you don't have anyone because you never built within yourself. And it's great to do that before you get in a relationship. Nobody said you couldn't do it while you're in a relationship, but it's mostly better to do it before you get with anyone else, so you already know like what to do. You already know how things are if anything goes south. And I'm not saying like you should try to predict and reckon what's going to happen, and then don't do that. What I'm saying is, if you did happen to break up and you were alone again, you wouldn't be, because you would have yourself. A strong foundation within is really kind of like the foundation for a healthy relationship. I mean, if you don't know how to love yourself, I really have a hard time seeing how you would know how to love someone else. That probably would go into the realm of codependency, because you kind of depend on them to like fulfill that emotional need, that like validation. Like, you can't get that from yourself, that you are loved. Yeah, you need to get that from yourself. You don't want to just rely on someone else for that. You want to get all of that from yourself, because at the end of the day, that's really all you have. And that's like another thing I want to talk about. when all is said and done, it really is just you. And if you can't be with yourself, you can't be with anyone. Like, this is not going to work out for you. Because I feel like ideally, you should kind of consider the fact that things won't be permanent between you and your partner. Like, you can hope, but being realistic, it's like, okay, we might not be together forever. In case, that time comes, you should be able to say, okay, well, I'm not worried. Like, I'm not gonna, like, lose my shit. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need to be with someone. I can't be alone. You don't want to be like that. You definitely don't want to be like that. You want to be able to keep your own company. And I'm learning that still. I really am. But it's definitely gotten miles better. Like, the closer I get with myself, the more comfortable I am just being with myself. Like, I don't hunt for relationships. I'm still getting over, like, the whole, like, attachment thing to my ex. Like, that's because drama. But I'm not hunting. I'm not chasing. Like, I'm not doing none of that. I am solo dolo, and that is okay. It is okay to be single. Yes, I said it. You don't need to be with anyone. No matter what you see, no matter what anybody tells you, you don't need to be with anyone. Stop it. Don't. Stop it. You can be alone. It's okay. You can be alone and not lonely. People say that, right? Yeah. And I'm not lonely. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Sometimes I do, right? I don't want to say it from a point of like, oh, I don't need human connection. Like, I'm good. I'm good all by myself. I can get all that from me. No. Just like everybody else, I want to be loved. I want intimacy. I want all those things. But when you go on a hunt for it and you don't get it, you're going to be incredibly disappointed. And when I was on the hunt for a relationship and intimacy, and I was seeing what everybody else was doing, what they had and that I wanted, I found my ex in the state that he's in. I think that's a nice way of saying it. And it was not a good find in the end. So keep that in mind. If you go out there hunting, you don't know what you're going to find. You don't. And you can't really be mad either, because this is, hey, you were on the hunt for this. This is what you wanted so bad. Well, now you're going to get it. I believe in organic connections. So it's kind of like, you just go to this place, someplace, and you just start talking to somebody. You connect like that. You have common interests. You play games or something. You like to knit. I don't fucking know. You read. Shit, like that. You just connect like that. I believe in that. I want that. I don't want to, like, oh God. I don't want to be on dating apps. Please, no. That ship has fucking sailed. No. I don't want to go back there. Dating apps are like a cancer. At least to me. Probably to you too. You just don't realize it. But it's just not a good feeling. Being on the hunt is just not a good feeling. And I'm telling you from personal experience. But I'm not going to say to you, like, I don't ever crave. I do. I'm human. I crave a lot. I crave a lot of which is not good for me. And yes, I am plugging, the synopsis of my book on the back cover. Anyway, it's hard. I'm not going to bullshit you and say that it's all easy. Being with yourself can be very difficult. Learning to love yourself can be very difficult. But the reward is so worth it. Like having that sense of a foundation that kind of, it's like you're forming a pact of solidarity. I'm plugging myself again because I wrote a poem called Pact of Solidarity. But you really are. And I don't feel like anything's better than that, you know? It's like you have you. What else do you need? You have you. You don't need anybody else. You don't need anybody else. You want them, but you don't need them. And you got to make that clear distinction in your head. And I got to tell myself every day, I don't want it. I mean, I want it, but I don't need it. You get what I'm saying? And with that being said, you are worthy of love. You deserve to be loved. And I don't know if you have someone telling you that. I don't know if you tell that to yourself. I just wholeheartedly believe that in spite of people's flaws, they deserve to be loved. I think everyone deserves to be loved. Saying someone doesn't deserve love is like really harsh. Relax. I don't know why you would say something like that. Like well, I could probably guess. I'm not gonna say that. Y'all probably been through some shit. But I'm just saying, from a general sense, I think people deserve to be loved. Don't blow it out of, don't do that. Don't take it out of context. Don't, oh, what about people? No, stop. You get what I'm saying. But you here, you deserve to be loved. And I believe that if you've been on the hunt to find someone to love you, look no further, because it's right here. It really is. Like, once you learn to be with yourself, once you learn to love yourself, you will realize that you are all you needed. It starts with you. It does. If you can't treat yourself right, how are you going to treat someone else right? It doesn't make sense, right? I said right 3 times in a row. So it has to be right. Right? I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't think I said it, but I like to make people feel safe. That's what I do with my poetry. I really just want to validate people's feelings and make them feel safe. Create safe spaces for them when they read my work. That's it. You know, making money is cool, yeah. Being an established poet, author, and like having like a really good following, like people that just support you, your work, you know, they want to see you flourish. That sounds fucking great. Yeah, I want that. But if I don't have it or don't get it, like it's okay, you know, I'll just have to work a 9 to 5 forever. But like, I just want to make people feel safe. That's my main goal, okay? And I hope that me talking to you like this, whoever you are, you're probably going to be, you know, stranger across the planet or something. I don't know. I just want you to feel safe and validated, because I think one of the most painful things I've experienced is not being validated, really being confused based off of my experiences, to the point where I was gaslighting myself. I felt gaslit, manipulated. You know, I've been through a lot, all right? So I come to you from a place of knowledge. I've been through some shit. So I'm laying it down for you right now. This is the groundwork, and you're walking on it right now. This is you walking on it, walking on my words. You're welcome. I'm kidding. But you deserve to be loved. And don't let anyone tell you differently. And don't settle for someone that doesn't love you. I'm going to beat that into my head. Literally, like in my fucking nod. Seriously. Do not settle for someone that does not love you. it is just a waste of your time and energy, especially if they didn't appreciate you, they mistreated you. I know it's hard. I'm going through it still. And I really just want to get to that point where I look back and I'm like, oh, wow, I've been through that. Or, oh, that was a tough time, but it's whatever now. I want to get there. And if you're where I'm at, I'm sure, one day we'll get there. Maybe together. Hopefully, that'd be cool. Just communicate. Just talk about it. Oh, yeah, you had that shitty time too? So did I. That's great. That sounds great. Just reflecting and just connecting with people. Who doesn't like connecting with people? Some people probably don't, but I do. I love it. But yeah, don't settle. Don't. It's really tough, especially if you're attached to like the potential of someone, what you think they could be. Yeah, it can be really fucking tough, because that's your brain really just filling in it's ignoring reality, essentially. Like, it's saying, okay, well, yeah, this is this, but technically it could be this. I mean, people change, right? You gotta let go of it. You gotta let go of it. I would say what's been helping me really is just therapy. Being there for myself. There's times where I literally hold my own hand, like, try it. Literally try it. Like, if you're going through something really tough, try holding your own hand. Like, just slow down and hold your hand and see how you feel. I guarantee, if you've been trying to really connect with yourself and doing the work, you will feel something. I'm sure. I hope. But yeah, that's been helping me. And also just grounding myself in the reality of how things are now. This is just how they are. I think when someone but when they've hurt you, it's kind of easier to really ground yourself in things, because it's like, oh, well, they did something to me. I've never experienced a thing where it's like, I never had an amicable breakup. I've only had one breakup, and this one was not amicable. And just ground yourself in how things are. Like, my brain would do things where it's like, okay, well, this breakup wasn't amicable, but like, you'll have one where it is. And it would say things like, oh, well, this breakup wasn't amicable. And it's like, oh, what are you gonna do when it is? Like, are you gonna be like broken completely? Like, now you can't blame someone? Just gotta get out of your head. Like my therapist said, overthinking is a coping mechanism. Overthinking is a coping mechanism with what you cannot control. You let go of what you can't control. Please, for the sake of us both, just let it go. You can't control people. You can't control the future, the past. This video has gone on for too long. I'm getting into a lot. But really, you can't love someone. Well, you can't love someone unless you're fully vulnerable. You can't just hide pieces of yourself or hold yourself back. And you shouldn't. You should love someone with everything you are. And they should do the same. Other thing, consider the state of you before you get into a relationship. Are you ready for this? That's a pretty fair question to ask. Are you in a place where you're healed? Are you emotionally intelligent? Are you emotionally available? I feel like the worst thing you can do is waste someone else's time. It's one thing if you waste your time, but if you waste someone else's time, now you seem like an asshole. Do you want to seem like an asshole? No. But I think so. Like the third thing, let people exist as they actually are, and not who you think they should be. Just kind of throw that idea of away and just see them as like a real person that just exists and is. That's it. You gotta let go of these ideas that you craft of people. Like, if anything, just let them tell you who they are and let it be that. But you can sometimes get sucked into thinking that they're a certain way, or you want them to be a certain way. Then you get stuck in that, and then now it's like anything they do outside of that can kind of throw you off. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Lastly, don't settle for someone who doesn't love you. Don't wait for anyone. That's one of the lessons that I learned, and it's a pretty smart one. People change like the seasons do, you know. I'm plugging myself again. People change like the seasons do. People change their minds, you know. You don't want to be stuck waiting for someone who said they would come back, and then it's like, you know, they're like, oh, well, I met someone. You don't want that. I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm saying I could imagine. No. You don't want it. Save yourself the heartbreak. Cut it loose when it's loose. Cut it. Cut it loose when it's loose. Yeah, cut it loose when it's loose. We'll go with that. I hope this video resonated with you. I hope I wasn't talking out of my ass the entire time. I'm a poet. If you like poetry, stick around. You know, I might read you some poems. I do have a book out, The Coin on Both Sides, on Amazon, Google Play, whatever. If you're interested in that, be my guest. It would mean a lot to me if you gave me the time of day. But yes, this video was for you. Because you deserve to be loved, and don't let anyone tell you differently. There you have it. Bye.